Welcome to Getting to the Truth in This Art. I am your host, Rob Lee, and this is on MTR Podcast. Today's guest is the owner of Pandora's Box Boutique, your one-stop shop for women's latest trends, jewelry, gifts, and accessories. Please welcome Monesha Phillips.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I try to do my intros. I try to make people like, hey, yeah, I am that person. I try to do it in a way. I try to do it in a way where people want to take that snippet of the podcast and put it in as soon as people come into their business.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask. You're right. That's where my head was going like, ooh, I need that. That's on my next. Oh, yeah, I need to use that on my next promo. That's
fantastic. So let's get into the kind of cursory for people that are uninitiated, who may not know what Pandora's Box is about, what you're about, but describe your work and your background as a person in business and kind of in this creative space in Baltimore.
Okay. Well, I am proud to say that I just celebrated last Saturday 21 years of business.
Congrats.
And, and I'm still learning every day because there's something new and the world changes as we know it all the time. But pretty much I initially started out as a consignment shop years ago, and that wasn't my end goal. That was an easier way for me to get into the business that I wanted to do. And it was actually cost effective at the time. Lots of work, though. And I did really well. But it was a lot of work. And that was just where I wanted to start. So and then like 2 years later into it, I became transitioned into full gift shop. I initially started out a little whimsical and, you could get gifts and jewelry for the family. And then as time changed, as I understood it, brands, your customers, as what I can see, your customers actually can determine your brand. And then more of my personality started to mix. And then I really started to think about like where we were in the world and the things that I see every day. And I thought, and I thought I could have a voice to speak through my products. So once that came about and I realized this is what customers wanted, it was a part of my personality, kind of like I'm definitely not an introvert. So, I feel like it played off of my personality. My personality worked well with the customers that were coming in that I was seeing, and they wanted more. They wanted to see more of that. So that's how that developed. So that's how Pandora's Box kind of like made its story on its own with what the customers were looking for, personality, and what I saw in the world today, what was going on happening around me, whether it's in the city or everywhere. I'm like, okay, so I can have products that can speak to our customers on an emotional level. And so here we are.
So in that, like, speak on the mission and, like you said, 21 years. That's fantastic. I mean, I'm at 13 in this little podcast space. So I'm catching up on you. But 21 years, that's, a lot of different things. So we're talking like you've had things like different things happen in terms of like the stock market, different things in terms of cultural changes, and just population changes here and people's tastes have changed.
Yes,
so
definitely.
So speak on like maybe the mission of the boutique and how that has maybe changed over that time. Like, has that remained the same? And what is that mission?
Well, the mission is always, it's always empowerment. Before it was just, I focus a lot, even in the store, I still focus a lot in women empowerment, but it's more or less about self-awareness, who you are, and being able to speak your truth and who you are. And that's what I've always done as a young child. And that will always remain one of the things, being able to have self-awareness, because that's important. And I think that was very having awareness in general is what has sustained my business, because there's something that's always going on. Our lives change. And because I feel like I'm able to adapt to the different changes. and as human beings, as life itself, I was able to sustain my business because I make products or whatever is going on, and that can speak to the customer. It's a gift, but when we keep the customer in mind of what their needs are, it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, I've gone through vandalism. I've gone through, recently, we went through years ago. I survived. Well, initially surviving, I downsized back in, I want to say it was 2008 or 2009 when we had the whole real estate bubble and the recession. So my store was much larger. Initially, I had furniture at the downstairs, and upstairs I had gifts. It was set up like a gallery. And so I could see the writing on the wall. Then I was like, okay, I need to downsize. I realized at the time that this is, I don't want to be in one of those situations where it's going to be hard to pay for overhead and different things like that, because, I want to have this large, beautiful store. And I can see that times are changing. Customers are not going to have as much disposable income. And no one is going to want to decide whether they're going to buy earrings or eat lunch for the week. So once again, those business decisions. So I downsized and I opened a smaller store, same neighborhood, same block, just a few doors up. But I said all to say, just during the years of transitioning from a smaller space, and but my mission still remained the same, no matter throughout the changes. I've seen lots of changes. Of course, things that are affected. I think one of the times I think was very hard. It was during the Freddie Gray, during that time. Just seeing how the changes happened in the city and being a small business owner and the location and how that the trickle down effect of that. But I'm still here. And on a positive note, but I definitely know the transition. But through all of that, always the mission remained the same. It's just, again, speaking through the products, speaking to my customers, building. And one of the things I wanted to build was community from my store. And I think we've done really, really well from building our own community. A customer base or relationships has always been important.
So what I'm hearing is, like, you have, and it's a couple things that are running there. You have that one thing that I think that business owners and sustainable and business owners with longevity that you're not letting your ego drive your business. Because I've seen that, especially now, right, where COVID is around, you need to be a part of the community, and their businesses are closing and things are changing drastically, but people don't want to let it go, don't want to adapt to what the current situation may be or what their customers' tastes are changing to, but you're adapting while keeping your mission in mind and building relationships and community.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely. I think for any business, you definitely have to remove the ego and know that it's really not about you. It's about who you're serving and how important they are to what your mission is together. And I'm sorry, what was the other part of the question?
Well, it's just more of that observation of just you're not letting the ego in through the back door when it comes to operating your business. You're adjusting as needed and still with your mission in mind. So I think that's leading to that sustainability and that longevity you're having.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's speak about the inventory a little bit. So, like, where are you buying your inventory? Where are you obtaining your inventory? And what are the traits you look at when deciding what items are going to be in your boutique?
Well, there are certain trade secrets I'm not going to say today, but
I'm taking notes. Opening my store, Rob's Boutique, Rob's Box Boutique. Let's get it.
But I do. So I look at a few things. So now I'm more or less on the side of, I create a lot myself. I work with other printers and vendors. I'll say, hey, could we, I had this in mind. And then could we, because I work with so many different graphic designers now because they have their own businesses. And so it's nothing for me to say, hey, I come up with an idea or something hit me, like what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, can we design this? Can we do this? Now, since it's been so many years, a lot of artists they find me a lot, which I'm grateful. It makes my job a lot easier. I don't have to pay the payments any longer trying to find, good artists and good designers, but they find me, whether it's from Etsy all around, or I take time out to actually search for who's up and coming, whether it's in Baltimore or any other state. I'm constantly on the internet. I'm constantly looking through Etsy. I'm constantly, but even when they find me or I find them, the first thing, I don't care how cute or nice I think it will sell, I always go back to their story. The story is important to me. So I read like, what was their beginnings? What made them get into what they're doing? What do they stand for? Their mission? How do they, just whatever it is about them that I feel like it works is in line with Pandora's box. And that's how a lot of times the product is, I'm not just selling stuff just to be selling it. Most of the, there's a story to be told, or there's a story behind the product. There's a human being behind these businesses. And that's important to me.
Storytelling is very important. And I think there's some overlap with how I approach doing this. Ultimately, I'm not selling something physically, but my product or my services, trying to sell these stories, these unique stories of artists and entrepreneurs and people contributing to the culture here, specifically in Baltimore, to try to change that narrative of we're a bad city, hard stop, move on to the next thing. And
right.
the thing that I look for in trying to tell these stories and trying to help tell these stories, facilitate telling these stories, what's the story? It's like, I'm not going after someone with some clout. I'm not going after someone that has a good name or a big name or whatever. It's like, why, like, am I interested? That's like that first thing or what have you.
Exactly.
And then, like, go ahead and tell a story. That's how that thing kind of operates, I think. But if you're doing an interview or you're working with someone and bringing them in and the story's not that captivating, it's like, yeah, sure, this will sell, but I don't feel anything. And that's
right.
That's something I've heard from like an art curator. It's like, yeah, you may have all the technical skills in the world and may be great at what you do, but does your work speak to me? Is that story that you're illustrating, however you do it, speak to me? And that's something that I think in having that person describe it, and now even listening to you, that's what I'm hearing of what's longevity about. What do you enjoy most about your work?
I enjoy most the I enjoy most the relationships that I have built and the customers. That's so rewarding to me, seeing customers. Like, I feel like I build a customer base or building customers. There's customers that I've met when I feel like being a part of their story and being a part of their lives. I have customers who they have, I met them on their first date and now they're married and now they have kids, and then there's like christenings, and then their kids are going to school for the first. So being a part of their story, yeah. I love that, and that's priceless. You can't buy that. You can't sell it.
Yeah.
And customers remember that and they appreciate that. So I love everything about the relationships that are being built, the community, the relationship. That's so important, especially in this days and time when we're, when, I don't know, sometimes it feels like that's not important anymore. And, going back to what you're saying about the cloud and what's popular, mm-hmm. The human connection is everything. And we learned that during the pandemic, that how important that is, and what's important. So I would say that is definitely, that's most important to me.
That's wonderful. As a business owner, frame it in this way, business owner and a creative, what makes Baltimore a great and unique place to be in business and to be in creative?
Well, I think Baltimore, we're a city that is rich in culture, authentic. We embrace small businesses. There's a lot of cities that do not. There's a lot of cities you can go. There's not a lot of Black-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, that we are, that's definitely one of our approaches. Like, we support small businesses, and it's not just a saying, or it's not just that one Saturday in November
coming soon.
It's become a part of our culture.
Yeah.
And that's, I think we're good at that. Because I've gone to a lot of different cities, or customers come to me all the time, and they could say, well, if we could just pick your store up and put it in our city, and not just me, but they'll visit and they'll say, wow, we wish there was more small businesses. Definitely a lot of in their city, more small Black businesses, because we definitely have a lot here in Baltimore. But yeah, I think we're right on we're doing well in that area. Whether it's supported, customers supported. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good area.
I agree with you. I think, and maybe this applies, but I think even we have a lot of creative folks here that if you're trying to source locally, it's just like you can stumble over an artist and it's like, oh, hey, you do great work, and it's like, well, all of you do great work,
right?
And that's a big piece of it. And I think I remember it was a conversation I was having the other day, and we were looking at like kind of how to maybe change or turn some of the gears to help certain areas or certain parts of the community here that aren't in the best shape. And I think, as you're touching on, the business community especially the small business community, and even more microly speaking, the Black small business community is doing all right and doing well in spite of some of those barriers that are there. They are working and saving themselves and not waiting for whether someone from the city level or someone from the state level, Lord forbid, come and try to help us out. It's like, no, we're figuring it out and doing it on our own. So catch up. I feel like that's a big piece of it.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, within what we do here, like you touched on, just that authenticity here. We're real here. And I think additionally, it's very DIY here. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. It's like, oh, you want a store? Sure. This is what you need. Or right. It's like, because I know down there, it's like farmers markets and all of that. And a few of the guests that I've had on this podcast, I saw them at the farmers market the first time just going down there, or even the coffee shop. Just, it's different pockets that have cool small businesses there. And I think when you run into other places, other cities, it's like, yeah, this is a small business district. We have multiple ones.
We do. They're, and I'm still learning, and I'm finding them every day myself. I'm like, oh, I didn't know this existed. We do. And that's what I love about the whole grind of it all, and the hustle mentality, and just, we're putting in work. We're getting it done. I love the farmers market. Mm-hmm. Great things. And not only just, we have businesses, but it's good stuff too. There's people can have businesses every day, but is it stuff that like you were saying, do we want it? Do we like it? Is it good quality? Yeah. But no, it's good stuff.
All right. I have two more questions before I get to my rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So this one, let's see, what would you say in the biggest area that you've grown as an entrepreneur since opening your shop?
The biggest area, automation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Automation, and knowing that although I'm capable of doing a lot of things, I can't do everything.
So delegation too.
Yeah. So automation and delegation. That's, yeah. I have definitely grown in those areas. Yeah, definitely automation and delegation. It just makes sense. Especially if you want to grow your business, it just really makes sense.
And I think what comes with it is after you've done it in anything, I think that you're doing, if you do it enough, you learn how to do it. that you can train someone else or tell someone else or write a script or whatever it is to program it and be able to hand that off, whether it be like, just think of some of the stuff that's on social media. Now it's just like, oh, you perform these actions all the time. We're just recording the action like a macro. We're just recording the action that you're doing. And now, boom, it's an app or whatever it is. So I think when we have the resources and we're able to have people around us, and I think because of the some of the hiring issues that are happening now and the employment issues that are happening now, some people who didn't have that opportunity to really program things out and automate things, they're in trouble. They're in a spot. That's like nationally, I believe. You know, it's like it takes too much. Like, for instance, food service. You need people to serve. We don't have robots yet. We can't just like, oh, come and get your food. You know, it's like get your water refill. It's like, what am I want a tip though? Nah, who cares? So there's just certain industries that you can't really do that. But when you're fortunate enough to be in an industry that this can get better, we can reduce these times. You can reduce these lead times. You can reduce how long it takes for us to get a product from another place or curate a certain thing, or how quickly we can do our books, whatever the situation is. If you're able to automate that, it frees you up. And if you're able to delegate it, it frees you up to do interviews with podcasters. So this is the last question. Now, this is where it starts to get weird. I'm going to let you know. And I've changed this question because you were doing a little too well. I like to put entrepreneurs in the hot seat a little bit.
Okay.
What are the last 3 emojis you've used?
Ooh. The last 3 emojis I used was the hands that go up. I don't know what.
That's the yes one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one. What else? I just did today. So I did the hands. I did the bug eyes, like the 2 eyes.
Yeah.
And what else did I use? I think. Oh, I just did like the Was it the? And I think today I did a smiley face. Okay. Those are the last 3.
Well, I mean, that's usually indicative of what someone's personality type is. It's like, yes, smiles.
So I'm always like this.
Mines are never good. It's just always demon faces of difference. Like, this sucks. All right. So now that we've got that, that's a primer, right? You know how you do like one of those tests and it's like, here's a sample question. All right. So here's my rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So the rapid fire questions, this is a new segment I'm trying to get over. Essentially,
I like it.
Well, thank you. These are just questions that don't really require any additional context. If you want to provide context, that's fine. But you can just say the answer is the answer. I said what I said.
All right. I like that. I mean, that's what rapid fire is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right?
I almost want to throw it in there, a sound bite like, who's going to check me? Like, I want that to be a part of
it. No, absolutely. Yeah, you should. I think you absolutely should. Because it is, I said what I said. You know, no is a sentence.
Right.
You know?
Right. Favorite flower?
Hydrangea.
Okay. Go-to souvenir. Let's say you're traveling and you want to bring something back for someone. What's that souvenir that you're going to get?
Magnet, always.
Magnet or shot glass for me. Yeah. I know a lot of people who love to drink, so...
Yes. And although I sell lots of shot glasses all the time, but I'm always a magnet person. On my refrigerator right now, like every place I've ever traveled, there's a magnet on the side. So yeah, I don't know. I like magnets.
Then
that's always my souvenir of choice.
Then I know what I'll be sending you after this podcast, some magnets. Because I have magnets with this cartoon on it. It's behind me.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
No, totally. Yes.
Okay, black or white?
Black.
That's dope. What would you do with your 15 minutes of fame? This podcast is going to help everyone be famous. That is the goal, except for me. I ain't going to be me. All of you can wear your gold color suits. Well, your gold suits, rather, just suits made out of gold. I will be just here, humble Rob in Baltimore. But when you get your 15 minutes of additional fame, you know, what's going to happen here?
Oh, my gosh. Okay, I'm stumped on this one. I mean, I'm going to always... See, that's a tricky one because I'm going to always be 100. I'm going to always show up as 100% me. Yeah. So the 15 minutes of fame, I don't know. knowing me, because I'm always like, I'm thinking about business and stuff.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to plug myself again. I'm going to plug Pandora's Box. I don't know. It's going to be business.
Yeah.
As usual for me.
Yeah. This
I don't know if that answered the question.
No, it is. It's like, this is.
But it's still going to be business for usual for me.
This is a marketing opportunity.
Yes. No, definitely. I can't imagine what I would. Yeah. It's going to be business for me. Business as usual for me.
I dig it. Last question. Last of the rapid fire questions. When are you at your most productive? Is it the morning, evening? Is it after you take a shower? Is it after a run? When are you at your most productive? When do your ideas come to you?
Late at night.
Mm-hmm.
I work late, like 2 a.m. I will wake up and get a glass of water or go to the bathroom and think about something. And I will always, like, even right now, this is always with me.
Yeah.
I will write something down in thought, so I would say late at night, because that's when I'm most productive, because that's when I can think clearly. I feel like the day has settled down. Well, actually it's the next day, but the day has settled down. My phone's not ringing. I'm not answering emails. It's quiet. And my mind can rest.
I get you. Yeah.
And I can think. So I think I'm most productive. And I think the backup to that, most productive when I am challenged.
That's legit. I think when you're challenged, you're able to think about things in a different way. And I think, because I'm similar, I think I keep a notepad with me at all the times. I think when I'm not locked into something, and it may be late at night or something along those lines, but if I'm not locked into something, I'm able to take a moment. Sometimes I might have to do a little bit of a meditation to try to reset. It unclogs where I'm kind of stuck in a thought, like, okay, what should I add here? What should I take out here? How can I do that? That's an interesting observation. That's a joke. That's kind of funny. When am I going to watch this movie? All of these different thoughts flow. But when you have a step away from that, oh, I should interview this person. Let me reach out for this person. And you're able to be a little bit more productive. And I'm able to generate lists. That's the thing that helps me the most.
That's good.
That's all the questions that I had. So I want to give you the opportunity to plug anything that you want. Store, website, social media, all of that stuff. But thank you, Monesha. This has been wonderful.
No, thank you. Well, again, I'm Monesha, owner of Pandora's Box. I'm located at 50 East Cross Street. Pandora's Box, and 50 East Cross Street in Federal Hill. I will say to everyone, due to supplies being limited and the mails being slow, get those. If you are shopping for the holidays, whichever holiday you celebrate, get it early, because gifts are not promised this year. We are feeling the effects truly of the pandemic now.
Yeah.
Supply chains, delivery, staffing issues, you name it. The effects are here. So, and come shop with us.
And what's the website?
Oh, so you can find a lot of our items. 85% of the store is online. So you can, it's pandorasboxboutique.com.
Monesha Phillips, thank you so much. I'm Rob Lee.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I love this interview.
Well, I'm glad you did it.
This actually was a conversation. Thank you for making me feel that.
That's the way I like to frame them. So for Monesha Phillips of Pandora's Box Boutique, I am Rob Lee, saying that there's art in and around Baltimore. You just have to look for it.